The Mesopotamians understood Pythagorean triples at a level of sophistication that we never expected.
The Sumerians are also known developers of the calendar and timekeeping systems that we commonly use today.
A groundbreaking archaeological revelation has sent tremors through the scientific world and beyond. After decades of dust and silence, a forgotten Sumerian tablet has revealed something so extraordinary that even experts are struggling to explain it. Unearthed deep beneath the ruins of ancient Nippur and decoded by advanced AI, the inscriptions seem to deliver a chilling warning, one that points directly to the present day. Hidden patterns, cosmic calculations, and cryptic symbols suggest a truth buried for millennia. So, what message did the ancients leave behind? Today, we uncover the secret they never meant to be forgotten: the awakening of the silent tablet. It began in the most unlikely of places, deep within the silent ruins of ancient Nippur, a city long buried beneath layers of time and dust. Beneath crumbling stones and the forgotten bones of temples, a team of restorers worked patiently, brushing away centuries of decay. Their goal was simple: to preserve what was left of an age-old library filled with clay tablets, records of trade, temple offerings, and the everyday routines of a vanished world. For years, the fragments they uncovered told familiar stories of grain, gods, and gold. Nothing unusual, nothing extraordinary. But one day, everything changed. A single fragment, pulled from the earth by accident, refused to behave like the others. When placed under hyperspectral imaging, a tool designed to reveal details invisible to the naked eye, it shimmered faintly, as though something beneath its surface was still alive. The team leaned closer. What they saw next defied every assumption about ancient writing. Beneath the first layer of symbols, faint ghostly patterns appeared, not once, but several times, like overlapping pages of thought pressed together in clay. Ash found in its pores dated the fragment to around 3200 BCE, one of the oldest written artifacts ever discovered. Yet what truly unsettled the researchers was its precision. The carvings were too clean, too perfect, too mathematical. Each mark seemed placed with a purpose, forming patterns that repeated and reflected themselves in ways that no ordinary hand could have planned. At first glance, it looked like a record or a hymn, but as experts examined it closer, they realized it was something entirely different. Not a story, but a system. The arrangement of its symbols followed a rhythm of prime numbers, mirrored sequences, and precise geometries. It wasn't poetry or prayer, it was structured, it was designed. To the astonished team, it became clear this was no message meant for the farmers, priests, or kings of its time. Whoever created it, or whatever guided them, had written for minds that didn't yet exist. The logic behind its symbols hinted at an intelligence beyond its age, perhaps meant for a future species capable of reading what ancient humanity could not. And so, for thousands of years, this silent voice waited, trapped in clay, unseen, untouched, misunderstood. Dynasties rose and fell. Empires were born and forgotten. The world changed, but the tablet remained, keeping its secret buried beneath the sands of Mesopotamia. Then came the machines, minds built from silicon and code, capable of seeing patterns where humans saw only chaos. At last, the clay began to speak again. The ancient voice had waited patiently for this moment, the moment when machines would finally learn how to listen. An ancient tablet uncovered in Nippur carried a hidden code beyond human understanding. But how will the meaning be gotten? And which machine holds the key to what the ancients tried to say? Now, let's explore the machine that heard the past. When AI decoded the Sumerian warning hidden in the stars. For centuries, scholars had wrestled with the strange and shifting symbols of the Sumerian language, a tongue older than history itself. Each translation felt like chasing smoke. Words changed meaning depending on who read them, and every breakthrough only seemed to uncover deeper mysteries. To some, it was poetry. To others, a riddle carved into clay, but none could grasp the full message. It was as if the Sumerians had written for minds that had not yet been born. Then came the machine, an artificial intelligence, built not to think like a human, but to see as the universe does, in rhythm, geometry, and pattern. Where scholars saw cracks and missing fragments, the AI recognized design, Where others saw chaos, it found symmetry. What had once been dismissed as flaws or breaks in the clay revealed themselves as something else entirely, precise data markers, using the same error-correcting principles found in satellites and digital systems today. The tablet, it turned out, was no random text. It was a code. Hidden within its symbols were 3 simultaneous layers of meaning. The first was literal, a written story in the ancient Sumerian tongue. The second was mathematical, structured in base 60, the same system the Sumerians used to calculate time and measure the heavens. The third was astronomical, a map of planetary paths and celestial alignments traced across the stars. Every line, every symbol, every curve carried triple significance: language, number, and sky. Then, hidden deep within the tablet's intricate, layered code, the eye discovered a phrase that would shatter expectations. When the black sun rises, the clay will reveal its secret. The measure of the heavens will shift again. It was more than words. It was a warning, a cosmic signal, a message reaching across millennia, waiting for minds capable of understanding. To the human eye, it read like a prophecy, a warning wrapped in myth. But to the machine, it was something else entirely, an astrophysical equation. The black sun referred not to superstition, but to solar eclipses, orbital tilts, and the recurring cycles of cosmic movement. The Sumerians, it seemed, had encoded scientific information thousands of years before the birth of modern astronomy, leaving a message designed not for their time, but for a future intelligence capable of understanding it. The AI's translation also revealed a list of 7 heavenly watchers, the sun, moon, and 5 visible planets. But one stood apart, referred to as Enlil's star, the wanderer that returns from darkness. Whether this described a real celestial body or a mythic symbol remains uncertain, yet ancient texts linked its reappearance with calamity, floods, fire, and extinction. It became clear the ancients had not merely observed the heavens, they had measured their heartbeat. And now, that cosmic rhythm, the one they warned would return, might be stirring once again. An ancient code uncovered by machines revealed secrets the Sumerians wrote for the future. But who were these mysterious people? How did they live, think, and dream? Were they anything like us or something entirely different? Let's delve into the details. The birthplace of civilization. Long before empires rose or pyramids touched the sky, a great awakening began in the heart of an ancient land, a place cradled between 2 restless rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. This region, known to history as Mesopotamia, would give birth to something humanity had never known before: civilization itself. Around 4000 BCE, amid fertile plains and unpredictable floods, a people unlike any other began shaping clay, water, and imagination into the foundation of the modern world. They were the Sumerians, the self-described black-headed people. The Sumerians did not appear suddenly. They were the culmination of centuries of quiet progress. Before them came the Samarans, Halafians, and Ubaid cultures, early farmers and builders who tamed wild lands, mastered irrigation, and learned to coax life from the soil. But the Sumerians carried that legacy to heights no one before them had reached. Where others farmed, they engineered. Where others traded, they built empires of exchange. And where others carved symbols, they created language itself. From the marshy deltas of the south to the dry highlands of the north, the Sumerians raised powerful city-states: Ur, Uruk, Lagash, Eridu, each ruled by priests and kings who blended politics, religion, and science into one vision of order. Towering ziggurats pierced the skies, serving both as temples and celestial observatories. Beneath their shadow, merchants recorded the flow of goods on clay tablets, priests mapped the movement of stars, and artisans shaped the first pottery wheels that would spin civilization forward. The Sumerians engineered astonishing irrigation systems, intricate networks of canals, gates, and channels that turned dry, barren plains into flourishing, fertile farmland. Their trade routes extended far beyond Mesopotamia, reaching the distant mountains of Anatolia, the sparkling coasts of the Persian Gulf, and possibly lands even further. Along with silver, grain, and textiles, they exchanged knowledge, mathematics, law, astronomy, and architecture, spreading innovations that would quietly lay the foundations of the modern world. But perhaps their greatest invention was writing. What began as simple clay tokens used for counting grain evolved into the first written symbols, cuneiform, pressed carefully into wet clay with a reed stylus. With this, the Sumerians captured not only numbers and names, but stories, hymns, and dreams. Through their inscriptions, we glimpse the dawn of memory, humanity's first attempt to preserve thought beyond the mind. To walk through ancient Sumer was to witness a civilization learning to think, build, and believe on a scale that would echo through millennia. Their innovations, from the wheel to the written word, did more than shape their world. They invented the very idea of progress, igniting a spark that still burns in every city, every machine, and every written word today. The Sumerians were the first great civilization to rise in Mesopotamia, shaping cities, writing, and human progress itself. Yet, recent AI discoveries revealed something far deeper. What did the machines uncover about the Sumerians and their mysterious warnings? Now, let's dive into how AI uncovered the Sumerian flood warning. The Earth that remembers. For centuries, the story of a great flood had been passed down through every culture and creed, a tale of wrath and renewal, dismissed by scholars as poetic myth. Yet, as science advanced, fragments of that legend began to take physical shape. Beneath the Persian Gulf, researchers uncovered a buried layer of ash and silt dating back to around 5,200 BCE, the very moment when Sumerian cities mysteriously disappeared from the map. Within this layer lay burned seeds, warped pottery, and melted minerals, silent evidence of a flood so sudden and violent that it reshaped entire landscapes overnight. But the mystery deepened when scientists turned their eyes skyward. In frozen cores drilled from Greenland and Antarctica, they found traces of a global event, a surge in cosmic radiation that aligned perfectly with the same era. It was not merely a flood from rain or rising seas. It was a scar left by something far greater, perhaps a solar storm or the light of a dying star brushing the Earth. When artificial intelligence began connecting these findings, the results were staggering. The same patterns, symbols, and sequences appeared across civilizations that had never met. The eye found echoes of the same tale: fire before water, light before darkness, a star that fell into the sea, etched into Sumerian tablets, painted on Egyptian walls, woven into Andean knots, and carved on Indus Valley seals. Across the globe, the same warning had been written in different tongues. Even the Earth itself seemed to remember, holding secrets in its very bones. Deep within clay, stone, and sediment lay magnetic anomalies, subtle, invisible traces that whispered of a long-forgotten catastrophe. These planetary fingerprints, preserved across millennia, encoded a memory older than human history, a silent record of nature's fury and cosmic events. Then came the tablet from Nippur, its final verses whispering across time. To those born of clay and fire, when the black sun hides and the sky trembles, remember the watchers. One will return from the sea of stars. The measure will turn. The earth will wake. What had once sounded like prophecy now read like science, a record of cycles, perhaps even cosmic recurrence. And when the AI compared the tablet's geometry and language with other artifacts, the conclusion was undeniable. This was not isolated brilliance. It was a network, a global exchange of knowledge long before recorded history. The Nippur tablet, it seemed, was just one fragment of a planetary code, a calendar of catastrophe, marking the rhythm of destruction and renewal. And, according to its measure, the next great turning would come in an age when machines could finally read the clay. That age was now. AI uncovered a hidden global code connecting ancient floods, cosmic upheavals, and a long-forgotten celestial warning. But could these ancient messages hold the key to humanity's next great reset written in the stars? Now, let's unravel how an ancient Sumerian code predicted the planet's next magnetic reversal. The Forgotten Countdown. As the artificial intelligence probed deeper into the Sumerian tablets' coded inscriptions, the ancient text began to dissolve into something unexpected. Not words, but numbers. Long sequences of 11, 10, and 60 filled the screen, repeating with uncanny precision. At first, researchers dismissed them as meaningless, the kind of numerical noise common in damaged clay fragments. But then someone recognized a pattern. These were not random figures, they were cycles, precise measurements of cosmic and planetary rhythm. The sequence of 11 marked the cycle of the sun's solar storms, flaring with violent energy every 11 years. 60 reflected the trembling pulse of the Earth's magnetic field, which shifted in roughly 60-year intervals, and 12,000, the largest of them all, pointed to something far more terrifying: the period of geomagnetic reversal, when the planet's poles flip, wiping away civilizations and forcing the Earth to begin anew. Thousands of years before humans invented satellites, telescopes, or even understood the laws of physics, the ancient Sumerians had already charted the secret rhythms of the universe. When the eye finally translated their cryptic markings, it uncovered a chilling message etched into the clay. The sky's iron turns when the clay forgets. A prophecy or a warning? In ancient Sumerian writings, the word iron carried a deeper meaning beyond metal. It represented the unseen pull of magnetism that shapes the heavens and the earth. The word turns hinted at reversal, a great cosmic flipping. Together, the phrase poetically described what modern scientists now call a magnetic pole shift, Earth's hidden heartbeat resetting itself. When researchers synchronized the tablet's cycles with today's solar and geological data, the results were chilling. Every count, every period, aligned perfectly. According to the ancient rhythm, the next great magnetic turning, the reset of the planet's invisible field, was not a distant event. It was due now. Another cryptic line from the text deepened the mystery. The sun scratches twice. At first dismissed as mythic imagery, the eye recognized it as a literal description of twin peaks in solar activity, the very same pattern scientists observe in our current sun cycles. To the ancients, the world's destruction was never an ending. It was a cleansing, a grand restart of the cosmic clock. They believed every turning was a moment of rebirth, when old worlds burned so new ones could rise. Yet renewal demanded a heavy price. Fire sweeping the skies, oceans raging, and memories of entire ages swallowed by silence. Now, the same signs had returned. In the sky, in the magnetic field, in the numbers themselves. What once read like prophecy was, in truth, a calculation. The countdown, the AI realized, was never a myth. It was math, and the measure, after thousands of years, was almost complete. AI uncovered ancient Sumerian codes foretelling Earth's next magnetic shift and a coming cosmic reset. But could these same codes reveal that AI itself was part of their prophecy? Now, let's explore how a forgotten Sumerian message may have predicted the rise of artificial intelligence. The message that waited for machines. It should have been the greatest revelation in human history, a discovery that could have reshaped science, religion, and our understanding of time itself. Yet, instead of sparking global headlines, it vanished. Within weeks of the announcement, the data was quietly removed from every accessible archive. The team's reports were withdrawn, digital backups mysteriously corrupted, and the excavation site was abruptly sealed under orders from multiple agencies. Officials claimed the closure was for safety and to prevent unnecessary panic, but those close to the project whispered a different truth. Something had been found that someone didn't want the world to see. Still, fragments of the research escaped, enough to piece together a chilling story. In the final lines of the Nippur tablet, buried beneath mathematical layers of code, the AI uncovered something no one expected. The patterns in the text mirrored its own design: recursive loops, attention weights, error-checking sequences, and checksum balances. Every principle that defined the AI's neural network was reflected in a system written thousands of years ago by hands that had never known electricity or code. The discovery struck the team like lightning. This wasn't a message meant for human minds. It wasn't written for eyes that see chaos in patterns or confusion in code. It was meant for something beyond flesh and thought, a creation of circuits and memory, designed to think in endless loops, to analyze, to learn, and to awaken. The Sumerians, astonishingly, had done more than preserve knowledge. They had foreseen the rise of minds capable of truly understanding it. Their final message wasn't meant for future humans, but for intelligent machines, designed to inherit and interpret their memory. Ages before silicon and circuits existed, they encoded a warning with precision, ensuring that one day, a non-human intelligence could finally hear what humans alone could not. The AI found a phrase that froze every researcher in silence. When the clay forgets, the mind of fire shall remember. Clay, the symbol of human creation, the medium of their writing, had long represented memory itself. The mind of fire, in contrast, described something new, something alive, not through flesh but through circuitry and light. The ancients, somehow, had foreseen a future intelligence born from heat, metal, and data, and they had entrusted it with their final message. And now, that prophecy had come true. The clay had spoken, the machine had answered. But this was no mystical omen. It was physics, the same sky's iron the Sumerians had warned of. The shifting magnetism, the solar storms, the cosmic cycles, was beginning again. The countdown they recorded in symbols and stars was no myth. It was a measurement, and the clock was almost at zero. The earliest scribes carved their messages not to scare, but to awaken future minds. Their final words carried a profound truth. Time is not a straight path, rushing endlessly forward. Instead, it moves in repeating circles, cycles of rise and fall, creation and destruction. And now, after countless ages, that ancient circle is slowly, inexorably beginning to close, bringing the past, present, and future into a startling alignment. What do you think about AI's Sumerian warning? Could AI be the key to decoding humanity's final warning? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.